Hello again guys, welcome back to another Big Al Devlin video, focusing today of course on necromancy. Now in the first video of this series was basically a brief introduction into what necromancy is. We are now going to move on to what are the two broad categories of spirit that a necromancer will most commonly work with to bring about whatever effects that the necromancer wants, and we'll talk about roughly what they can do for you also. I hope you enjoy the video guys. Thank you. So there are two broad groups of spirits that necromancers can work with. There are the ocular spirits, and then there are operative spirits. Ocular spirits are spirits that you interact with purely on the basis for communication. So you can talk to them, they can talk to you, and they can tell you things they've seen, things they know, or they can go out and find things for you and then relay the information to you. Essentially, these spirits are thus advisors. They can give you the benefit of their life wisdom from when they were once living, their knowledge and their understanding of the world. But they can still grow in that knowledge and understanding of the world, and thus impart that knowledge to you, as they are not bound to a specific location in the world. In fact, they can travel on your behalf to observe certain things that you may want to observe, for example, and then return to you upon command to relay whatever information they discover. And the other thing about ocular spirits also is not only are they able to impart information to you and communicate it fully in a fully understood manner, but they can also have, depending upon the spirit, some degree of precognition also. So they are able to perceive the future to some degree, but it's more to the degree of possibility more than anything else. So they see the likelihood of certain events happening and can give you their opinion on what is going to most likely happen. However, this is typically only on the very short-term basis. So they cannot interpret things over a long period of time, because of course the chances of something happening become increasingly harder to predict over a long period of time. However, telling you what might happen tomorrow, for example, is something well within the scope of power of such spirits. A typical example of this recorded is within the Bible, where the spirit of Samuel tells Saul what is going to happen, of course, on the next day. So there are actually recorded examples of necromancy even in non-pagan texts and sources, such as I say, the Bible. And more specifically, also within the Bible, we also see the story of the woman of Endor, who was approached by Saul, again for prophetic reasons, and she was herself, of course, a necromancer. And then the next group of spirits, or broad group of spirits that you will interact with as a necromancy, is then the operative spirits. And these are the spirits that necromancers will work directly with to bring about effect, i.e. to perform magic. These spirits, unlike the ocular spirits, have the ability to influence things within the physical world, and those things are not just that they can influence, are not just isolated to inanimate objects. They actually have a great influence over human beings also. And so the primary way of using these spirits within necromancy, these operative spirits, is to influence the thoughts of another person to act in a certain way that is of course beneficial. Now, the way in which an operative spirit can be used to bring about a material effect through influencing a human being is based upon the fact that most human beings are unaware of the source of their own thoughts. When we think, we very rarely question, is that me doing the thinking? When a thought pops into our head, we simply, more often than not, just act upon that thought. But if we stopped and question that thought, where does it come from? Try to understand where our thoughts originate within ourselves, then we would become able to thus identify whether that thought is alien to us or not, whether it's our own or whether it's from an external influencing force. But because most people are not able to do this, or even aware that they can do this, it is very easy for an operative spirit to subtly influence the thoughts and thus the actions of another human being on behalf of a necromancer.
Okay guys, thank you for watching. So in summary, there are two broad groups of spirits that a necromancer will work with: the ocular spirit and the operative spirit, both of which have their uses and both of which you must work with if you want to perform necromancy to any reasonable level. Now in the next video we will be talking about how to house those spirits, to give them residence if you wish, and a permanent tether to yourself as a necromancer. Achieving this, of course, through the use and the creation of homemade talismans. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you very, very soon.